the display mode property. Now the display mode property is associated with multiples of controls. Almost every control has a display mode. Now there are basically three kinds of display modes available in Power Apps. Either the control is disabled, is view, or is edit. So the display mode is about whether the user's interaction with the control, the user is allowed to edit, to view, or it is disabled. Now to explain further, let's look at this vertical gallery. Now what we want to do is that anytime we click on the checkbox inside the gallery, we want the item or the checkbox to be disabled so that the user cannot take it again. Now to further explain it, let's go to the data source. Now the gallery is connected to a table called fruit table, which I have on my start. So I have a table on start. I've created a table on start, a collection. Then on check of the checkbox, we have this code collect, tick collection, this item. Now what we are saying is that anytime we tick the checkbox, it should create a collection and then put the ID into the collection. Now we have unique IDs for each of the items from 1 to about 7. So when we tick on 2, the ID 2 will be collected into this collection ticked call. And then on uncheck of the checkbox, that is when we remove the tick from the checkbox, we are going to also remove the same ID that was earlier collected from the collection ticked call, which is the collection name we created when we're checking the checkbox. Then on the display mode of the checkbox, let's go to the display mode of the checkbox. On the display mode of the checkbox, we also have this. If this item.id in tick call, then display mode dot disabled, otherwise display mode dot edit. Meaning that after we have checked and collected the ID into the tick call, what we are saying is that if we find the ID in any of these templates in the gallery inside the collection, then the checkbox should be disabled. Otherwise, it should allow for edit, or it should be display mode dot edit. So that is basically how this display mode for this particular example works. So we can check. You see that this is unchecked and it's tickable. So when we tick, then we cannot interact with the checkbox again. You can create have a button that will remove the checkbox. That is, so to explain the display mode, this is one typical example that keeps occurring or people keep asking in the community. Another example is using the display mode on a form. So I have created a form here. Let me make it visible. I created a form here. Then we also have a gallery. Okay. We have a form, then we have a gallery, then we have one of these buttons should be new form. Okay, so let's change the description. New form. So we have two buttons, one for new form, one for edit form. In other words, on select of this checkbox, we are going to turn the form into a new mode or the new default mode. And then when we click on the edit button, we are going to check, or we are going to turn the default mode, sorry, the display mode of the form to an edit form. So what normally happens is that sometimes you want the users not to be able to edit particular item. So you can then give a condition that anytime the form is new, then the edit button that has the ability of sending data which has been edited into your data source should be in disabled or view mode. So let's see how it goes. So we go for the display mode of the edit button, display mode. Okay, so in the display mode currently it is set to edit. So what we are saying is that anytime this form is in new mode, then the edit form should be disabled. Okay, so we go like if the form name is form2, if form2 dot mode equals to form mode dot new, then display mode dot ed display mode dot disabled, otherwise display mode dot edit. Disabled. Okay, so what we are saying is that if form2 dot mode is form mode dot new, that is, if the mode is new, then this button should be disabled, otherwise it should be editable or it should be allowed to click. So let's see how practically it goes. Currently it is set to edit, so we can easily click on the button. So when we change the mode to new, and we look at this button, we have new form2. That is the formula for changing the mode. So when we click on it, we see that it gives a new form so that we can enter new entries. And immediately we see that the edit button is set to disabled. So this is another example of how the display mode applies to various controls in Power Apps. Thank you.